Welcome to my channel. My name is Brian. To Across the Culture Wars. Man, I want to talk about spirituality, but I also want to talk about music. So in this broadcast, I'm going to bring to you some of the teachings of Uncle Bobby Hemmitt. Not my biological uncle, but in our culture, when we feel a vibe, we claim you as family. So Uncle Bobby is family, and I'm gonna bring some of his teachings to this generation because one thing I learned is that we gotta continuously pass on information. And he spoke on this topic many years ago, but it's still relevant to this day. So hit a like, share, subscribe, and let's get into some of the juice. First, I'm gonna play intro song just to get the vibes going. Then we're gonna get into the music. So my name is Brian. Welcome to Across the Culture Wars.
To the conclusion, we're caught in an illusion. I've come to the conclusion, we're caught in an illusion. I've come to the conclusion, we're caught in an illusion. Not just the girls. I've come to the conclusion, we're caught in an illusion. One more time. I've come to the conclusion, we're caught in an illusion.
Most of the music now, you can't dance off rap anymore. It's a very low tempo, cool stuff. And once they get you so that you can't dance, you can't move, and you can't get into an altered state. You see, there are some tapes. There was a good tape I bought on astral projection, and they talked about different ways to astral project. And they were saying that sometimes runners will be running, and when you're running and breathing, they astral project. So dancing puts you in an altered state of dimension, altered state of consciousness. So the way the rap is now is very low. You can't dance to it on a high energy level. But if you go to Europe, they jamming, like we used to do here. And so therefore, it destroys the melanin. Plus with all the other bullshit they put into it. Plus it's very egotistic. And it destroys the melanin. You see what I'm saying? Very keeps you understand that.
Okay, guys. So we're talking about music on this broadcast, the power of music. I'm introducing some of the teachings of Uncle Bobby Hemmitt. So the music that exists today, we can all agree, is changing. Um, a lot of the music that we have today isn't original, and is very problematic. So I'm gonna play another clip, and I'm going to double down on this point.
98% of most music that we hear now is sampled music from the past. This is a way to make sure that the muse don't progress into the future. The other part here is a modified, homogenized, pasteurized, watered down version on a lesser repertoire of the deepest type of sophistication music can be. You got the opposite. So smooth jazz is a simulation of jazz. It's more instrumental R&B. It's gimmicks that sound pleasant more than complex rhythms to inspire to a new paradigm. There's a difference. It's the lesser repertoire. You can have a gimmick, something that is repetitious, that becomes a theme music for a background, other than a breakthrough music to catapult you and jolt you into the future. There's a difference. There's a difference between gimmicks. For all intents and purposes, Rap music, although it's one of the greatest phenomenon on the planet, 98% of it is now gimmicks. Because the music part is nothing but fragments of stuff that was already made in the past. So that's the gimmick. The real deal talent that used to go into rap, because rap used to be very complex and talented now, is now going over to the lesser repertoire rappers who is mostly gimmicks now.
Okay, so if you're joining me, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. My name is Brian. Welcome to Across the Culture Wars. So I want to talk about music and how it relates to spirituality. So my background musically is that one, now I'm into the instrumental music. I play the acoustic guitar and the piano, but I came from a rap background. My older brother was the musician of the family, and his name was Omar. He passed away. He played in the orchestra, marching band, um, was one of the best musicians in the state of Louisiana from the millennium to like around 2020. So over a decade, he was considered one of the best musicians in the state of Louisiana, and that's documented. And so I learned a lot about music from him. So how does this relate to the conversation today? Why is it that music lacks originality in the modern times? Think about this for a second, guys. It's not just hip hop, it's all forms of music. And how does the music that exists today, how how, how does it hurt the culture? Well, it hurts the culture because the music that exists today is all gimmicky. The music that exists today is not real music. Now, what makes it not real music? One, you got people sampling music, taking music from other people. You have a lot of stuff going on musically that we can't even call some of this stuff music. And they have programs now where basically, if you don't know how to sing or stay in tune, they have equipment, auto tunes to pitch correct. If you don't know how to play the guitar, they can get a simulation to play the guitar. If you don't know how to play the drums, you have beat packages. Now, while that's all cool, and I'm not trying to be the type of person to say, oh, don't change with the times, but at some point, we're going to have to change the definition of music, because can we really call someone who isn't playing an instrument a musician? Someone who isn't using their voice as an instrument a musician, a vocalist? And we're at a point now to where when we hear live music, we overjudge a live musician, a live band. Do you know, guys, that when you're playing music, it's almost likely you're going to make a mistake, right? So the music that we're used to hearing through these simulations is overproduced. All of the vocals are stacked to where it's overproduced. All of the drums are layered. The drums are now pitch corrected. So you don't hear real drums in music anymore. You hear pitch corrected drums. You don't hear real vocals in music anymore. Everything is pitch corrected. So the flaws in music actually is what helped make the music special. Okay? And so now when we hear real musicians, real artists, real orchestras, real bands, we overcorrect, we overjudge. We want them to sound like a CD version. And it comes to a point now to where I'm not even sure if we can call I'm not even sure if we could call some of this stuff music. And this is important because the children are being brainwashed, and children are so brilliant. I have my niece and my nieces and my son with me right now. They're just leaving choir practice, and music is so important. And and we have to understand that. And I'm gonna play a clip expanding on my point of why this is so important.
There was no such thing as dumb people in Africa. Wasn't no such thing as dumb children and all it. Dumb children. That's only based on the European not knowing how to teach or deliberately putting people in certain sections to make sure that they don't go up. Only thing you got to do with a child is just tell a damn child that it's going to be smart, and it automatically suppose itself to be smart, even if it's an idiot. If you tell it it's smart, it would automatically say, well, I'm supposed to do these things, and it will send messages to the brain. You see what I'm saying? It's just like that old thing, the bumblebee, the wingspan of a bumblebee is no way it can fly because the body is too heavy, but the bumblebee don't know it can't fly, so it flies anyway. You see what I'm saying? So, only thing you have to do, only thing the ancient Egyptians did, they just told them. Case in point, what's what happened to Duke Ellington. His mother told him he was the greatest child ever born. So when Duke stayed home, got sick, when he was in elementary school, he got sick for 2 weeks and learned how to play music, compose, write, read music, and compose music, and became the greatest composer of jazz of all time. You see, and it just came to him. Learned how to play all the great stuff. He learned how to do it in 2 weeks in elementary school. That's because his mother told him that he was the greatest ever. So we're talking that type of psychological ramifications on why we fail.
So why am I saying this, right? Why am I talking about music and why music is important, how music has changed? Is because music historically was something that people lived their day to day through, right? People had work songs, religious songs, different types of worships. Meanwhile, in modern time, in the modern art form, music is something people consume. People hear music, but people are not actively creating music. And the people who are creating music, they're having their intellectual property stolen from them. So it's very interesting what's going on. And I think that is something that a lot of people just have to tap into. And then you have the programming aspect, you know, since music has a way to change the way you feel. A lot of the music that comes out now, like, it's not the best. But I'm gonna end this broadcast right now, and I'm gonna come back on later today. So thank you for tapping in, and we'll get into it later.